All of this, of course, builds on strategies from previous years of unique content and stuff like that. All that stuff. We were at a conference recently, and a guy, actually it was almost a year ago now, a guy said that unique content doesn't matter anymore. And at first we were like, you're out of your mind. But what he was actually saying is everybody has unique content, so that's not the strategy anymore. That's the basic level.
It's
of
a
what
baseline.
You have to do.
Yeah,
That's your base. That's one of your baseline.
We need to get
things.
tickets again for that conference, though.
Yeah,
by the way.
it's coming up.
I want to say one thing about it. I talked to a guy the other day on the phone, and he was asking questions. And I've done this a long time, so could be partially paranoia, but I'm probably right. I'm going to say I'm right. He was basically calling to ask questions about city pages and how they could activate. Hey there, guys. It's Nolan Walker and Jason here, Director of Operations for HVAC Webmasters.
Howdy.
And today's subject is HVAC SEO strategies for 2020.
It's like the new car model. We started before.
All right, so things that have changed. I guess I don't know where I want to start with this. Let's start with GMB posting. How about that?
Yeah, let's do that.
That's a good.
It's actually been around for well over a year, but there's still not a lot of people doing it regularly.
They're not doing it regularly, and there's also a feel from what we're noticing that they're starting to pay more attention to it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and I feel it's pretty common. Google will introduce something, whether it's good or bad, whether it's a penalty for an algorithmic change that people aren't supposed to be doing, or whether it's some benefit for something they want you to do. They'll give a little leeway time and say, okay, it's coming.
And they'll put it out there, they'll test it over here and over there, and then they'll finally roll it out to everybody, and then over time, its importance
goes up. Yeah, and they do that for negativity or positivity. Right. So back in the day, they said, hey, don't do inbound links. And
don't do bad inbound links.
Don't do bad inbound links. Don't spam them. And then they turned it up the heat, and then they really burned everybody to death.
Right.
So in this case, they're giving more credit to GMB activity in general, I'd say.
Right. Definitely.
So we're going to, and that's a different topic, but we may have something special coming up for that, right, on GMB activity.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on something.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we're working on something to automatically enter in stuff that's custom and unique stuff. But anyway, so you'd want to be doing photos to your GMB account. You'd want to be interacting with it. Of course, it goes without saying that you want to do reviews.
And speaking of GMB, I want to talk about the photo thing.
GMB is Google My Business, by the way.
Yeah, Google My Business.
Yeah.
We had our company GMB account. We had put up photos there, stuff, people working around the office, and special events at the office, like when we have potluck.
Is this something I don't know?
No, it's the thing that came up a couple of weeks ago with the photos and the weird photo going to the top.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to be that there's a place in your Google My Business account where you can say this. You can upload your logo and you can upload a cover photo. And they used to use those, but they don't anymore. They started just choosing a default photo. And we ended up
it's so
with
stupid.
The default photo for our company was one of our employees who's actually one of our best people, but she was dressed up as she was dressed up as Death from Neil Gaiman's
She does have a goth flair.
Oh yeah, she totally does.
Yeah.
But she was dressed up as a character from comics, holding a skull, screaming at it from our Halloween lunch.
Yeah.
And it's like that was the default image for our company.
She's very morbid looking. There's a little Halloween backdrop, and she's staring at us.
They're going,
oh. Yeah.
And we were like, what the? And what we found is that they had decided to just pick one of the pictures that you'd upload.
I'm guessing that a lot of people viewed that photo. And therefore,
we couldn't find a correlation.
Well, we wouldn't know how many people viewed that particular, or do we? I guess they do show photo views now.
Yeah, they do. We couldn't find a correlation. We ended up, when you're putting photos up, make sure there's nothing in there. Don't do filler. Make sure you're using stuff that you want people to see.
But can't the public put a photo on their account though, and then they end up with that crap up there, and they can't. Depends on.
I think they keep those separate.
Depends on.
They keep those separate.
Then so they're only going to preview or have the company ones up.
We hope. So far, that's all we've seen.
So far.
And that's another one of those things if Google doesn't tell us.
So we took down almost all of them. We're like, okay, let's take the Halloween stuff off of our.
All the Halloween, all the
I'm gonna educate Remedial here just real quick. So GMB is acronym for Google My Business. Google My Business is tied to your little knowledge graph on a laptop or desktop. When you type in your company name, if you don't know any of this stuff, you type in your company name, the city you're in, and your GMB account on a big enough screen will populate on the right-hand column.
Right.
And pop up, and it has all your Google My Business information that they continue to add to it.
Right.
Hours of operation, where you're located, reviews, links to social media, pictures that you put up, stuff
Posts.
like that.
Post if you're posting.
Questions,
FAQs.
questions that people ask.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't even want to talk about it that much, but anyway, you should be in there.
We'll do another one about all of it.
But we left a photo up actually of Jason. They left one photo up of Halloween, and it was you.
And I'm just standing there. I'm basically in street clothes, but I'm standing in front of
And
that
they
same
moved
Halloween background, and they moved from the screen.
They moved from Amberlin to him.
Yeah, to the
And
screen,
we're like,
to
okay,
me on the Halloween background.
Screw this.
And we
take
said,
all-
okay, all holiday stuff comes down.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't, if it was a birthday or something, it had to be Halloween though. You know, it's like it was all so morbid looking.
Yeah,
But
but even after we took that one down, some other holiday stuff was still up, and it was and they kept picking like the goofiest, stupidest looking picture.
yeah,
they
what
could.
was Madison wearing? I forgot, like a onesie tights with
He made a
mermaid.
weird, he was merman, and he made this weird costume, and it was hilarious. But it's not exactly what you want to be the face.
This
of your
is
company.
lost in translation stuff from people working on your own account, even ours.
Yeah,
And you know what you want to represent as the
right,
company.
exactly.
Put company pictures up. Okay, sure.
Pictures of and it's like they put stuff up, and it's all done in
Groundhog
good faith
Day.
and everything,
Yeah.
but it ends up being
You should watch it.
Creamsicle Day.
Creamsicle Day. Don't get me started on that. So ridiculous. We had anyway.
Anyway,
I don't even want to talk about that. Somebody posted National Creamsicle Day on our social media account. They're not here anymore.
No.
Anyway, so the GMB accounts is important. These are strategies for HVAC SEO in 2020. GMB very, very important. Let's segue in from GMB into reviews integration. There's no
Our
way.
favorite subject
Yeah,
these days.
it's our favorite subject right now because we're kind of. I feel like we're kind of kings of the category at this point.
Yeah, we have probably the best review integration.
We have another company that we're affiliated with that now owns a software review integrated product.
Right.
That we currently use exclusively. And what's so cool about it is that, well, for one thing, why are reviews important? Reviews, it's not that reviews have been important for a good 3 to 4 years now, right?
Right.
Like very important. You could have done them before that, but in the last several years, they're really frothy and really, really important.
Frothy.
It's a lot of activity around
Yeah.
it, right? The water's stirred up into frothiness. So. Anyway.
I thought of a latte when you said that.
Did you?
Now I want a latte.
I don't know if it's that frothy.
Anyway.
That's very frothy. So if reviews get integrated to a high enough extent, like what Righteous Reviews does, it takes the review and really compounds its potential benefit to your overall online presence.
It takes it from simply being a trust indicator
Right.
to a service area indicator,
He talks more better than me, so much. I like that. Yeah.
a keyword optimization indicator,
Right.
a ongoing content
Organic.
channel.
Yeah.
It like takes what was this one little thing and just supercharges it and spreads it throughout your web presence.
So the difference behind this, I discussed this the other day. So we happen to have a product that is integrated in as an original part, as
Right.
an OEM part as opposed to a retrofit. If you have a website that's built, that's a typical basic template, which all of you have almost, unless you're with one of a handful of companies, us being one of them.
Us being the big one.
Yeah, you have this basic little. Sorry, guys. You have this basic little. I can't.
I don't
Can't
know what
silence
that's not your usual ring.
Somebody's at the door. It's a ring
Oh.
door. So if you have this set up originally, and you have somebody build you service pages, lots of them in city pages, and the short code from the reputation management software is inside each individual page in the site, then when you're checking in at a job and you're on your phone in all of 60 seconds, here's the job, here's the new HVAC system installed, new AC installation, okay, I'm in this city. I'm going to pick the city page from the cities I have, and I'm going to pick the AC installation page.
Right.
I'm going to put down the customer's cell phone and email, and I have the photo, and I'm going to hit send. It automatically is going to drop the photo into the HVAC installation page. It's going to drop a red pin on a map on a geocode of schema code check-in.
Right.
That's going to go on a master map and a map on the city page, and then it's going to automatically email and text the client at the same time.
Right.
And Google all of a sudden now might get a review, and here's the cool part about it. So they might get a review. So you know that maybe 1 out of 10 will give you a review. If you're really good at it, 1 out of 5, right? Now you've increased that because you've texted and emailed them, but the 4 out of 5 at least that don't leave a review matters a little less than it used to, because you have a geocoded check-in that shows up on a red dot pin on your map within 2 blocks of where you were, because you did it off your phone in their driveway, and it grabbed the geocode.
Yeah.
And
plus
the
you
photo.
plus you have the photo, plus you have the photo caption, which can be keyword relevant.
Good, that's what I was saying.
If you're careful with what you're doing.
The photo captions in there as well.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you've married together your organic presence, your Google account, Yelp or Facebook reviews, and put all that together, and it just works.
The big acronym these days is EAT, expertise, authority, trust.
Right.
That hits all three. And reviews used to just be the T. It was trust, and this adds to all three.
It adds to all three at one time. It is very much a utopian set of things come together for Google. Really should make their little algorithm just shout with joy.
Dance.
Yeah, just be so happy with you. So if this stuff is integrated properly, if it's integrated well, it's EAT, expertise, authority, and trust.
Right.
Which they're breaking down kind of. This evolved. What was the other one? There's another acronym before that.
LSI?
No, not LSI. But they're breaking down the nuances of what was originally called a company's brand. But since the brand wasn't really traditional sense of branding, like if it was a major corporation,
right?
It's really what branding means to be a business today, as it relates to their online web presence,
right?
And which I'd like to talk about that one too. But so this sort of idea of brand idea, that's one that I had too. We'll segue over into that one. So we've just talked about how review integration can really expand a web presence. And guys, you don't realize, before I get off of the expanded review integration, imagine someone sitting here watching, well, I get good reviews, and imagine someone doing the righteous review integration. They'll beat your ass up one side and down the other. Absolutely smoke you in the marketplace.
There's just absolutely no question.
Yeah, so
we've tested it, we've seen it.
So the good news is, if you're watching this for 2020, there's almost nobody integrating reviews to this extent.
No.
They're getting one guy gets reviews only to his Gmail or to his Google and GMB account, or to Facebook and Yelp and a little integrated stuff. And another guy takes it and completely expands it to different pages to optimize. I want to go into a little more detail on it. So if you added a review plugin after the fact, and if your web company sucked and wasn't us or a very few amount of people, right?
Right.
Which is almost always going to be the case.
Right.
And you added it after the fact. Let me explain what the difference is, because I don't go into detail. The difference is they're like, oh, ours does it too. We pay $350 a month, which is one of their fees.
Right.
And we do check-ins too, Nolan. No, sir, you do check-ins to one big gobbledygook junk page that Google can't make heads or tails of, that go have check-ins at 20 different cities and photos that cannot possibly optimize. Right? It might add a little credibility. It's like, oh, they're doing stuff. Who the hell knows where for what benefit, but something's going on a page here.
Yeah.
We really can't tell what the hell's going on. And what I mean by that, if you take all the junk that went on one page and somebody carefully wrote content that was well coded and custom written, and you have separate pages for all your services and separate pages for all your cities, then all the check-ins and pictures are going per page. And pages that, if you're lucky enough to have done well, like us.
Which you're probably not.
Which you're probably not, unless you're signed up with somebody well and you pay any amount of money to do quality work, which is beyond me why anybody wouldn't pay for this stuff, because it's so much less expensive than other forms of marketing, because it is the free stuff kind of if you have good services. Right. Now all of a sudden the pages that were better done now get little activity all the time that's custom and unique, with unique photos, unique captions, and unique geocoded check-ins.
Right.
And that doesn't exist. That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah.
That's where people don't really fully understand it.
That integration with the location and the service page is the big kind of innovation with this.
Jason, how many other of the softwares in the nation include the geo check-in and pictures to be uploaded to service pages that we're aware of?
I don't know another one.
We're unaware.
I know of one that you can do pictures. I know of one that you can do
cities.
Check-ins
on cities,
but
not service.
But nobody else has melded it.
Okay,
together.
so why wouldn't other people do this? Because think about it. If you have third-party software entering into it that doesn't build out the stuff, and all the websites are crap that are out there, what are they supposed to do? Oh, excuse me, sir. I thought it our ethical obligation to call and tell you that your website is really crappy and you can't possibly get full functionality out of our software, because you need to call your webmaster and ask them to add a dozen service pages and a dozen city pages. Yeah. If you could do that, man, I could just sleep better at night. I really feel uncomfortable taking your $350. I really feel we as a group, thought about it, and then we want to increase the chances.
Just don't feel right.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're going to let us into the pearly gates if we're not, just as ethical as we could be. So actually, if you'll give us the name of these people, we'll call them and go, and if they don't do it for you, we'll just go ahead and do all this back-breaking custom labor for you ourselves, just to make things right. So that'll never, ever, ever happen.
No.
Ever.
No.
So unfortunately for you guys,
they want to sell you a software package that, they're not lying to you. It performs the function. It does the thing they tell you it does. What they're not telling you is that it could do more, but nobody wants to do the work.
Right. Nobody wants to do this work. All the reason that people don't experience great results organically online with SEO is because all this unique custom work isn't done.
Right.
They all get a cheap template website and start throwing junk on top of it.
You either do your website yourself, or you have your nephew do it, or maybe you have a company do it, and then you put it up, and then you go over here and you buy your reviews from this guy, and you hire this other person to SEO your site.
Right.
And
even that guy never does proper content.
Yeah, they come in and they change a few things and they say, oh, you'll be good for this, and then they're gone. But the problem is there's not been a cohesive approach to any of it.
Right.
And it was all just sort of bolted together, and it will never run the way it should.
So all the stuff we're talking about is the essence of SEO, you getting graded for all this stuff running properly and integrated well.
Right.
Which leads us into another category here, is custom website. So we just kind of explained it though.
Yeah,
right?
we segued without meaning to.
So without the customization of everything and the ability to enter the short code per page, and having someone that cared to write the pages properly, and then having the code base inside the design, all this other stuff can't possibly be graded by Google. If all the check-ins and all the red pin maps and pictures and reviews go on one gobbledygook page, it doesn't optimize the specific page. Google doesn't guess that an HVAC company wants to show up in a certain city for a certain service for replacing a solenoid or whatever it is, unless you had a page of content specifically for that, because there's no place to send the Google searcher to in the first place.
Right.
They're not going to go, oh, there's one keyword for that random thing this person just typed on in that random jacked up city out there that we don't know if they service except for maybe that reference point. We're going to send our Google searcher to this really large gobbledygook bullshit page.
By the way, the searcher is not going to understand what they're looking at, and that's what Google.
That's what the problem is.
Google wants their user to have a good experience when they go to your page, and if it's just a big list of, hey, we've been here,
right?
We've been 100 different places or whatever. The user's looking at it like, this isn't telling me anything. Google doesn't want to show that.
But that's exactly what the SEOs and the software people are telling these people
Right.
that it will SEO you and this software will work. Well, I have all this stuff. It's like, but there's no way for it to optimize.
Yeah, Google is not going to want to show this
Yeah.
because it's not the best experience for their end user.
That was all the category topics.
Was that everything?
We could move on and talk about more, but that is in essence a lot of it right there in one batch. I want to talk about
all of this, of course, builds on strategies from previous years of unique content and stuff like that. All that stuff. We were at a conference recently, and a guy, actually it was almost a year ago now, a guy said that unique content doesn't matter anymore. And at first we were like, you're out of your mind. But what he was actually saying is everybody has unique content, so that's not the strategy anymore. That's the basic level.
It's
of what
a
you have
baseline.
to do.
Yeah,
that's your base. That's one of your baseline.
We need to get
things.
tickets again for that conference, though.
Yeah,
by the way.
it's coming up.
I want to say one thing about it. I talked to a guy the other day on the phone, and he was asking questions, and I've done this a long time, so could be partially paranoia, but I'm probably right. I'm going to say I'm right. He was shocked. Basically calling to ask questions about city pages and how they could activate. Yeah. Well, city pages activate great with tagging and check-ins and pictures and changes and custom content written in proper code base.
Right.
They activate really well. This stuff is worth paying some nominal amount for. This gentleman, what I was probably calling to dig information.
Yeah.
What I was so happy about in this conversation was that the way that it's integrated at this point, you guys have always needed us, on some level. Somebody should always have somebody helping them that's quality. It just makes good business sense to work on marketing. Why somebody gets on the internet and doesn't spend a penny, but back 10 years ago would have spent money on print and yellow pages, I don't understand.
Billboards and all that.
I don't get it. So this guy didn't want to spend any money. You can't get the integrated stuff to this extent without spending anything. And if you go buy all this stuff separate, we have packages that cost less than this stuff all. They'll buy $300 for fake SEO.
Right.
Cheap template, fake. Oh yes, sir, we're doing SEO. Like you hear the keyboard going. Or somebody get a keyboard and bang on it while I'm talking to him. So those are like fake services. Like you got cheap template. They tell you to do SEO, but you're happy because you only paid $300. Then you go Then you go slap on the review software. It doesn't work properly, but it only costs $300. And then wait a minute, that doesn't work well. So you better go buy leads and go get other stuff, and then you got.
And pretty soon that's $5,000 a month.
Yeah, then you're like spending thousands, and it's all done improperly. But nobody ever spent time to go with one agency to do anything well.
Right.
And ours, we've had stuff for less than $1,000 as of today. We can get somebody done with extremely high-end services with integrated reputation management for less than $1,000.
Right.
And then we have different levels and things that we do, but it's worth it to include something, to do something properly, to get this stuff done well. There are some skilled services. You have to be careful, but there are skilled services out there.
And if you go with someone doing quality work like us, dollar for dollar, it's going to pay. The return on investment is just.
It's better than anything else.
It's in a different galaxy.
Yeah, getting organic and all that is. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's our HVAC SEO. We kept it kind of short and sweet, but that is. Jason said the baseline, where there's a lot of stuff we do, mobile and SSL and citations and proper content.
That we've been doing for years.
Yeah, that's just that's part of it, custom design, and then you add this stuff onto it. That's the new stuff for 2020. So you guys give us a call. We'd love to help you and love to be of service. We'll see you.
Take it easy.